Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Peace and Justice, One Nation, One Planet, One Race.
Mehran, we're not ready yet.
He's got to play the disclaimer, but that's good practice.
Yeah.
Thank you for introducing us. Okay, we're recording now.
Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent His messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness by giving will create a position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand, to be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle, which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and in the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 360th One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace. Here on Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute Education Department, and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I'll be your host once again in this weekly series of workshops that's been ongoing with members of the Universal Council and support members. And we continue today with another workshop in the new year of 2025, which we expect will bring many changes and many delightful surprises, let's say, in my opinion. All right, let's begin our workshop. Get that shared here.
Hello, everybody, every beautiful soul. Welcome to the first program of One Nation, One Planet, One Race for peace and justice on earth. We hope that in this year of changes, we can grow actively, not just waiting for the events to happen for us, but we go on, we learn more, we create more, and we go towards the maturity. And we hope that this year is the year of enhancement, transmutation of everything we need: food, medication, water, and learning how to go to space. And probably create such a peace that we can be accepted by the community of space, and they accept us as a peaceful nation, as peaceful human beings, and we can explore other places on the cosmos and travel and get rid of this small planet that we have to fight for the land. and we can have new colors, new everything we want, and create it with the way we are learning how to manipulate the fields and create. And I wish that you will have this year with a warm heart of unconditional love and peace and prosperity. So I welcome you, and I hope that would be a useful program we have made for you. Thank you. Also, I hope that we will have a program which is interactive with anybody who is around and who wants to take part in the program. That would be beautiful. Thank you very much.
Okay. We, the Universal Council, through our wish and central energies, give strength and wisdom for three forces to come together for the beginning of the world peace in a big way, including the American presidency, the Iranian space nuclear program, and finance people unattached from finance organizations, along with others who may want to participate in this great shift for humanity. These are our wishes, and our wish we command.
We, the Universal Council, elevate the souls for all to be part of the universal community as one soul, the soul of totality.
We, the UC, elevate the souls, all the souls, to invite the release, reception and retainment of the reality of plasma science. We are present. So this is Dean speaking here from the English language, representing the English language on the Universal Council as a support member. This presentation, this slide, is to connect the souls. There's many ways to connect the soul of man to all the souls that are present in these moments. This is one way, and this way was delivered by Mr. Keshe, and he gave these words as a manifestation, as a knowledge for man to elevate his soul. And I, like many other knowledge seekers, have used these words. So when you use the intention of the connection with the voice box, which connects the soul of physicality, the physical body, and it talks and connects to the soul of man, which is non-tangible, which is an energy source. However, we can connect this. And these words were guided to us and presented to us by Mr. Keshe and his teachings. And I, for one, have used these words to connect my soul to the other souls and to connect with my soul. And I think that's the most important thing for us to establish, is that connection between the physical realm of what we think and the energy realm that is present with us always. And so, being very physical as human beings, we like to speak, and we like to create, to condition, to confirm ourselves. And this is one way to join the soul of man with the soul of physicality. And this is by speaking these words in this moment. And I do this every night before I go to sleep, before I soul travel. And I do it once again when I re-establish my connection with the physical realm in the first thing in the morning, when I tend to come out of the reality back into the dream. So, and I speak these words: I love you, my soul. I live you, and I love with you, and I adore you. And as you can see at the bottom of this slide, you can see what the soul will give back to you. I had many, many beautiful experiences of being enhanced and being in communication with the soul, my soul of man. And I'm sure it would be exactly the same for you if you start to speak these words and you start to connect with the ethos of the foundation and the ethos to your fellow souls that are present. You will start to establish this connection and maybe traverse and climb the universal conditions that allow us to reach to the point of being present in physical form with the non-tangibility of the soul of man, which is unlimited and always has been unlimited. The only limitation is what we put on ourselves when we have experiences in our dimension of being physical. So please, if you get a chance, connect your soul of man with yourself. And then by doing this, you connect to all the other souls on planet Earth, all the created beings, and all the creatures and all the beautiful souls that are present with us in each and every moment, because there is no limitation. You can connect to anything and anywhere when you realize the beauty of being present with the soul. So thank you for listening, and I hope you establish your connection with your soul in these moments. Thank you, Rick. Unless anybody else would like to add something, please do. So I've been asked to do the soul connection in this moment, And as we just did, that soul connection can be by speaking those words. We can also do this in any moment, being present in the moment, like now. So if we learn to control our physicality by slowing down our breathing, just for a second, just for a moment, just connect with yourself. Breathe slowly. Breathe in deeply, and then breathe out maybe 3 times longer, and just fill your lungs with air, and breathe deeply. So by doing this, we pacify the physical form, and we manifest the body being in a peaceful state. And being in that peaceful state, we manage to establish that connection with ourselves. And through the teachings and the beauty of the knowledge, I know if you can imagine yourself being on, let's say, on a beach, imagine being your body lying in the water of the ocean, and the gentle lapping of that ocean waves as it laps on the shore. So it's a very gentle motion of the waves going in and out. And just match your breath to this. Connect with yourself. Be present. So as we establish that connection, we could let this this connection go on and on and on, but there comes a point where we have a live presentation, so we need to just quickly come back, gently come back into our physical forms. Again, just be on that beach, just let the water, or the motions, I should say, the emotion of the motion, let it just gently come back into your physical form. Now, maybe you'll feel your breath again. Because did you notice when we start to do this and we let ourselves go, the breath goes, we forget about it. It just, it's automatic. And it's a bit like the soul connection. When you actually start to re-establish the connection with yourself, it's automatic. You don't need to think. The soul is present with you in this moment always. And once you establish that connection, it starts to show you many beautiful things that you need to experience to help the others, to give from your soul to the other souls, to create that connection with all the souls that are present. And it creates a corridor, a beauty of peace that, that we are present with in this moment, each and every one of us. And thank you for being present. It's always beautiful to be present with all the souls that that listen to these teachings, that understand the ethos and the beauty of the teachings, and give from their souls. And by giving from their souls, the other souls receive energy. There is no limitation. And so by giving freely and unconditionally to others in whichever circumstances or situations they find their physicality in, we can gift from our soul to the elevation of their soul to bring them peace and energy that they require. And this is the beauty of the knowledge. There are no middlemen. It's a direct communication, a direct connection between yourself and the Creator. And we are present. Thank you for being present. Thank you, Rick. I think we can move on now. Thank you.
I believe Mehran is doing the Universal Council invite. Or perhaps...
Yes.
Okay.
Ready? As Mr. K says, ready and able. Uh, so the Universal Council and all knowledge seeker of Keshe Foundation and all peace-willing people in the whole world, we invite everybody to connect themselves, their souls, their minds, their intention together whenever they want, and especially at 9 p.m. every night when everything during the day they have done that, so that together we create a synergy of united fields for the aim of having peace on earth, having plasma technology accepted by everybody, by leaders, by financial leaders, and to bring peace in the world for all of us, justly and equally, justly, and all of us, 7-8 million people, we will benefit from plasma technology and transmutation knowledge and creation knowledge. So we stay in this feeling for a while. What matters is the quality of presence and the will to achieve these goals. Thank you. We can go on to another.
Next, we have the questions and answers with the Universal Council with Marie and Claudia. And they do this presentation the first Saturday of every month. And this was last Saturday, January 4th. And just let me get that ready here. And we're beginning again with question 1 of the program. And we'll have question 2 next week. Okay, let me make sure I'm sharing properly. Here we go. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27. 28. 29. 30. 31. 32. 33. 34. 35. 36. 37. 38. 39. 40. 41. 42. 43. 44. 45. 46. 47. 48. 49. 50. 51. 52. 53. 54. 55. 56. 57. 58. 59. 60. 61. 62. 63. 64. 65. 66. 67. 68. 69. 70. 71. 72. 73. 74. 75. 76. 77. 78. 79. 80. 81. 82. 83. 84. 85. 86. 87. 88. 89. 90. 91. 92. 93. 94. 95. 96. 97. 98. 99. 100. 101. 102. 103. 104. 105. 106. 107. 108. 109. 110. 111. 112. 113. 114. 115. 116. 117. 118. 119. 120. 121.
é você, é a sua alma. São vocês entendendo o processo.
First question. Hello, members of the Universal Council. I know that my question must be answered from within, but perhaps you can help me. I would like to know how and why I didn't have access to this knowledge and the systems before.
Então, a primeira pergunta é: olá, membros do Conselho Universal. Sei que minha pergunta deve ser respondida internamente, mas talvez vocês possam me ajudar. Gostaria de saber como e por que não tive acesso a esse conhecimento e sistemas antes.
And the first answer, the messenger tried to teach us. Ask yourself, who profited from unknowing religious followers? Be honest and understand the bigger path of the power and influence. Do you really want peace if you are one of the biggest gun producers in the world? We learn to follow the truth by understanding the plasma technology. Lots of us still don't understand what changes this will bring to humanity. Understanding the soul dimension is understanding independency. Some so-called leaders never wanted you to be independent, simply because that would be the total loss of their control. Don't ask why you missed it. Be happy to have the chance to change it. Together as souls, we manifest that change and as a road to peace for all in existence.
Então, a primeira resposta é: os mensageiros tentaram nos ensinar. Pergunte a si mesmo quem lucrou com os seguidores religiosos sem conhecimento. Seja honesto e entenda o caminho maior do poder e da influência. Você realmente quer paz se é um dos maiores produtores de armas do mundo? Aprendemos a seguir a verdade ao entender a tecnologia do plasma. Muitos de nós ainda não entendemos as mudanças que isso trará para a humanidade. Compreender a dimensão da alma é compreender a independência. Alguns dos chamados líderes nunca quiseram que você fosse independente, simplesmente porque isso seria a perda total do controle deles. Não se pergunte por que perdeu isso, mas fique feliz por ter a chance de mudar isso. Juntos como almas, manifestamos essa mudança como um caminho para a paz para todos nessa existência.
And there's another answer. There has been many messengers or prophets sent to Earth in the past, but the message did not reach the masses. Why? There are many reasons. One, there was not established good enough communications, like we have today, like the internet. The message was told by mouth, and the meaning was changed to abuse others. One messenger was Bahula, who was able to write down the message from the Creator. There are still humans which follows this prophet, and according to Mr. Keshe, Bahula's message is not tempered with too much. Unfortunately, the message through the prophet Bahula did not reach the whole world. He lived in the 1800s. Second, it's a big responsibility to get the message from the Creator. It gives you power, and many prophets were too weak to carry the message and fulfill the assignment to spread the message to the whole of humanity. Or else it can be tempting to abuse the power when we get it. Many prophets from the past, like Moses, changed the message to fit his ambitions to be a powerful man. That's why we, in the teachings from Mr. Keshe, learns to be humble and to serve others. And this is necessary to reach your soul.
Então, houve muitos mensageiros ou profetas enviados à Terra no passado, mas a mensagem não alcançou as massas. Há muitas razões para isso. Uma delas é que não havia comunicações suficientemente boas como as que temos hoje, como a internet. A mensagem era contada de boca a boca e o significado era alterado para abusar os outros. O mensageiro foi Bahula, que conseguiu escrever a mensagem do Criador. Ainda há humanos que seguem esse profeta, e de acordo com Mr. Keshe, a mensagem de Bahula não é temperada demais. Infelizmente, a mensagem do profeta Bahula não chegou ao mundo inteiro. Ele viveu nos anos de 1800. A segunda é que uma grande responsabilidade é receber a mensagem do Criador. Isso lhe dá poder, e muitos profetas foram fracos demais para levar a mensagem e cumprir a tarefa de divulgar a mensagem para toda a humanidade. Ou então pode ser tentador abusar do poder quando o obtemos. Muitos profetas do passado, como Moisés, mudaram a mensagem para se adequar às suas ambições de ser um homem poderoso. É por isso que nós, nos ensinamentos do Sr. Keshe, aprendemos a ser humildes e a servir aos outros, e isso é necessário para alcançar sua alma. Yes. I don't know. Chris? Yeah, because I'm not seeing you in your picture too.
Yeah, now
come
I
back.
could hear
Come
Cristiano at least. Okay, so I don't hear Claudia, but okay.
I say to you.
So the next answer, this teaching was authorized by the universal community to help the earth to its elevation. And this knowledge is within us and we have forgotten it. But our soul searchers until it reaches the point where it's ready to understand and find the correct teacher.
Esse ensinamento foi autorizado pela comunidade universal para ajudar a Terra a se elevar, e esse conhecimento está dentro de nós, e nós os esquecemos. Mas nossa alma busca até chegar ao ponto em que está pronta para entender e encontrar o professor correto.
I still cannot hear Claudia, but I could hear Cristiano very well. Okay.
Okay, that's the end of today's segment, and we'll hear about question 2 next week. Thank you, Claudia and Marie. Okay, let's get back to the program here. And next we have knowledge and understanding from the 571st Knowledge Seekers Workshop, which was last Thursday. And I will play this video in the background, and I believe Marinez or Dean will be speaking.
Oh, okay. How do you... Okay, maybe try. There's a video. All right. In the 571 Knowledge Seeker Workshop, I try to say what I can in limited time from what I understood. It talks about the fields and strands of fields. What is field? Field is a place where there are magnetic fields which come towards and which go to outside. So that's the magnetic fields. And we try to take a specific, just one strand of the lines, not the whole magnetic field, and try to use this strand to add to it, to bind it, to divide it according to what we need to be fit to the place we want to go. It means that if we are wrong in manipulating this strand of field, we can go somewhere else. Because each of these lines end with another magnetic fields. And by doing that, we open a way of creation, which means we can create another sphere of power that we can use the fields of plasma to our benefit, to travel and to do what we want with it. And so we don't talk about all the magnetic fields in here. We just manipulate one sphere of it. And then he talks also about that singularity of each field and identity of each field. And so if we can separate the magnetic fields and understand the communication line, it's very important in the technology. And we probably will reach that technology in this year. And then he talks about so many things. Interaction. That we can even bend and divide the light, the magnetic field of light. And also, if we want to create something in energy field, we need to have the inertia of energy in that place and time. And by discovering the inertia of energy, we can have a whole new sphere of knowledge to creating. We already know about inertia of material, where by inertia we can create matters. Now we tend to create energy from the matter and energy from energy. And so we that gives us a lot of power to manipulate to what we want and to motion, to create UFOs. And we can create walls without a brick. We can we can transfer food and medication without material, just by transferring, by transmuting its energy. So it's all a part of the process of creation, which we have to understand and be able to manipulate. Energy in plasma is defined as magnetic field in motion. Doesn't matter how man translates energy in the matter state, the potential energy we can understand, and it has to confirm in the condition of the matter state manifestation. In fact, knowing the inertia, creating the inertia helps to manifest in the material world or in the energetic form. And then so just by knowing how to create the inertia of energy, we can manipulate all sorts of energy and build or create whatever we want. And then he talks about the whole thing is about the inertia of energy, creating, manipulating the fields, the strand of fields, and to be getting to where we want. So we are starting this knowledge this way, the teachings, and probably this year we can be able to develop that and be able to transport and transmute with all these fields around us, and beginning a world of abundance on earth. Thank you. You can add anything you can think of about this teaching. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mehran. It's Dean here. I'd like to add a few things here. So I've been reading the transcript that Mr. Keshe actually was speaking, and so there's some it's been translated, or there's a transcript of the knowledge of the 571st Knowledge Seekers Workshop, which was last week. And so I just want to read a tiny little bit of it, because I think it's very important with what Mehran has and a beautiful understanding what she's just explained. Thank you, Mehran. That was wonderful. But I just want to explain it a little bit more in depth and a little bit different, okay? So when you give inertia of the field energy, you create electricity. This is what Tesla understood. And the world of creation and science up to now is baffled by it. He didn't understand any more than that. That's a very big opening statement there of the understanding of the matter state condition. So the next part goes on, you give inertia. You give inertia. You create gold from the plasma fields. But at the same time, energy, magnetic field in motion, has its own inertia. which creates what you call the current flow. And I think these words for humanity are very, very important now. And this has never been explained and defined in the world of science of today. And maybe as a breakthrough in the world of science, for the first time, mankind has the opportunity to understand and to be able to convert between one and the other, as Mehran was explaining to us. Inertia of the matter and inertia of the energy. Those scientists who become wise to understand this will break into new science and technologies of the creation, far beyond man's present understanding. Every manifestation needs its inertia. Every manifestation needs its salinity, which means the interaction between the two field forces of different base strength. So you're talking about the matter side of it and the salinity, and you're talking about the inertia side of the strength of the interaction of the field inertia, like the soul. Once you understand this, you have broken into the knowledge of the creation. Wow. I mean, that's quite incredible. Transportation, transmutation, and how to reach the ultimate goal, the center of the universe. Once you analyze to understand the creation of the creator, depends on this. Even light needs inertia for it to manifest itself. In the body of man, we call it salinity. The confirmation of one dissolves the other. In the body of the man, we always look at the wrong side of the process of the creation. So, as always with Mr. Keshe's teachings, he's opening up the whole of creation to humanity. And for me, there was a bit of a breakthrough when he started talking about that everything has its own inertia. So if you have a thought, if you have an intention, you're creating an inertia. And then that inertia, when you actually interact with it, and then using the salinity, the matter state of the body, that interaction is creating, in some circumstances, some positions, the light. The interaction of the fields. It's a bit like when the sun and the earth magnetic fields rub together and interact. Mr. Keshe was explaining this, I think maybe the week before, and how it's creating the condition of light. So from an atom to a universe, it's all the same process, and we are being given the keys to the creation when we understand and just go a little bit further into the knowledge of what's been spoken in these moments. And Mr. Keshe has been giving this drip by drip to humanity for quite some time. And I believe this last little part of the puzzle, I'm sure there's much more to come, it's the tip of the iceberg. But this little part about these magnetic field emotions of the inertia, of its own inertia. So for the plasma sciences and the plasma knowledge seekers, when you start to connect those dots now, those space gaps of the inertia, of the creation of everything, then maybe we can start to create what Mr. Keshe has been explaining here, where we're going to open up the sciences of creation. And as Mehran was explaining, this opens everything we possibly could imagine and beyond this, because there is no limitation. The imagination is the thought process. But you open yourself further to the magnetic fields of creation, and you have everything. And this technology is present and has been given as a gift to humanity. And it's, as with everything that Mr. Keshe says, the more you open it up, the more beautiful it becomes. And I thank everybody that's been present within the foundation for the knowledge, and their beautiful souls that have always been present to share this gift. And I thank you all. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Marinez. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, thank you, Dean. And next we have, see if I can find it here. It's a video from the 571st Knowledge Seekers Workshop from last Thursday. And it's called The Richness of the Soul in the Knowledge. I believe it was put together by Mark. And it's just a short excerpt here. And I think I'm set up for that. Let me just make sure. Okay, there we go. Okay, Ike has a question here. It says, first, Happy New Year, Mr. Keshe, Rick, and Knowledge Seekers. Question, at the point or after death, at the point of death or after death, a matured soul or the good souls are expected to continue to create, but the not so matured souls will be part of another soul until it matures. How would these not so matured souls learn, and what's the exact process in that dormant state to be able to mature and continue to start its own creation? Do you understand the question?
There is no point of maturity, and there is no point of process to be matured or dormant. It's an ongoing structure, ongoing interactions. And with what you have created, you have positioned. And you position yourself in respect to. And there is no dormant condition that you wait there till it comes. You still interact, you still interaction of your field of your soul with its environmental dimension is always there. It's just that how closer you come to understand the knowledge of the creator and the creation. That's the heaven and hell. Not burning a fire in and the rest of it. Knowledge of understanding the process of creation and your own created. And that's what you call heaven and hell. And then you understand where your position in respect to what you have gathered. Is the richness of the soul in the knowledge, not the richness of the soul in what you gather on your backpack. The enlightenment. Any other question?
Okay, that was our excerpt from the 571st Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Thank you, Mark, for that. And next we have a video from the 571st Knowledge Seekers Workshop, starting at 1 hour and 21 minutes. Just let me get that set up. This will be about 6 minutes or so. Okay, let's begin.
Need to understand. If you look at the picture on the screen, it's fantastic. It's when it was taken, and when I looked at these pictures when they were drawing them and putting them up, I said, when would people understand? This picture, you take the writings away and look at the background, look at the actual picture. What do you see? You see an orange, you see an apple, you see ginger, or you see cucumber, or you see a marrow. This is in physical matter condition. And then you see the tubes, which is the same thing in energy. We look at the fruits, but we have not understood that what's in the tube is the energy of that fruit. I don't need to eat 100 apples. There are millions of apples in that tube. Energy, because once I tap into it, that tap itself taps into universal energy to bring in. It's us who has to understand the knowledge and the understanding truly what it means. When you buy the GANS fruits of the Keshe Foundation, it's tens of hundreds of different gases, materials brought together as an energy level. It's the operation of one of your limbs in a tube. Conversion of energy. Your intention decides what you take from it. And the intention of lack of what is short in your body decides what to take from it. In a way, if you look at this tube, is going back to the teaching. I always said you take 20% of the energy, what you need, daily need, by eating. The other 80% comes through the space from environment. In these tubes, we bring that environment in your hand, at your reach. Instantaneous, that's all it is. Would in the future we make a system that you go inside it and everything is needed, all the fields energy of what you need on this planet and in the universe, and you being the center, you get absorbed, you come out, you have your food, you have your energy, and next. So we have to understand the meaning of the knowledge and not just looking at it and just walking away from it. So look at this picture. The fruits are manifestation of the matter state, and in the tubes is manifestation of the energy of the same. Does not matter what you call it. And once we understand this process, we enter a new dimension of existence, new dimension to work and to live. Would you like to have that apple which in a day or two rots away, or you have that tube next to it which carries apple and everything else for hundreds of years in your hand, it never rots away? Is understanding the knowledge. This is what I said, the new twin headsets if you ask us to embed in your system the what we call cosmic materials, which you brought into it, then you connect to the universal fields, universal energies. You connect it to an apple, you get an apple. You connect yourself to the universal fields. You receive through the soul, which feeds the body. And our data shows this clearly. We take from a space and we bring back in and we give to our physicality through the soul of the man. And I showed that picture to you last week. How directly in one dimension, and we always feed the dimension of the heart where it carries the soul of physicality. If you looked at the picture of last week, you should have seen that. It'll come in from a space, feeds the soul, and through it, in another dimension, directly connects to the left side where the heart is. Feels the soul of physicality, and the soul of physicality feeds the physicality where it's needed. So we have to understand a bigger picture of the creation and not what we have been narrow-minded to by those who like, or not like, but they didn't have the knowledge to understand it.
All right, that was you could say a tempting morsel tidbit out of the workshop, and a delightful teaching. Okay, next, we get back to the program. Next, we have transmutation with Moshfek, I believe. Or perhaps not. I don't see Moshfek here.
I know he said he'd be joining a bit late, but let me attempt something.
Okay.
Again, transmutation, a very big word. It's not a word that we hear very often, but it's a process that we're doing on a regular basis. So this word and this operation of transmutation should not be seen as something foreign or outside our abilities, but this is what we're starting to accomplish. And I was thinking when Dean was speaking that once we start to learn about these inertias and perhaps creating water out of the fields or gas out of the fields or feeding ourselves, again, this is another transmutation. I think referring to man as made in the image of the Creator will become quite a natural process as a person is able to interact with the fields using their soul or using another field. Perhaps that's the way it'll move. But this, once they create water or they create gas, they really will look at themselves as a creator. And this is a puzzle, I know, or creating electricity, for example. So this is all transmutation in a way of fields, and we're doing it quite a bit, as I said. In the feeding process, 80% of our energy is being transmuted into our structure without eating anything. And then, of course, when we travel in what we've been told to call the dream state, another transmutation in a way of the soul, interacting with other energies in that energy dimension. So I think this is a beautiful time. And of course, you can volunteer in the transmutation tests that have been going on for a couple of years now, I think. And there's many transmutations that we've done and we've practiced. Again, this is not something to do it in its full understanding of the totality does take some practice. And as I put in the chat there, we're going to unravel some of these things, this puzzle of creation. But our structure is so much more than a physical dimension. And this, of course, we've ignored. And even as Mr. Keshe had said, we trust in the GANs more than we do our own soul in many times. And of course, even that word soul has been taboo, even among knowledge seekers. It's something we have. It's probably our most powerful tool to get in touch with, but yet we haven't fully understood the capabilities and the communication line. But this is what all this process is doing. And of course, we all learn and move into this knowledge at a different speed and a different strength than the others. And of course, we've been practicing a little bit with those GANs tubes that you just saw in the previous picture. Again, I'm just testing it, and I'm an amateur at it, and I'm sure there's techniques to improve it, but it is making a bit of a difference, I would say. And so I can see how we can go into space and travel on long excursions and really not need to take the food, or perhaps the medicine and the doctors and everything else. And this is what Mr. Keshe is encouraging. All this knowledge, all of these technologies are really made for space travel or space use. Of course, we will be hopefully solving some gas problems and some other problems of decontamination and other things on this planet. But once we start to understand and can create in the matter state or the energy state, this whole idea of I made the man in the image of myself will become much more real to many more people. And to realize that if they can feed themselves, if they can create water, do they need any intermediaries or anything like that? So in a way, this will shut down the so-called religions on this planet. We won't shut them down, but again, as man's knowledge enlightenment increases, there'll be less of an abuse of the man. And that's normally due to, again, this lack of knowledge. So we invite you to participate in the transmutation test to keep the Keshe Foundation free for humanity. And again, this is going to be a beautiful year as this puzzle of creation starts to become unraveled. And we'll be creating very similarly to the way the Creator creates. And as he said, are there any need for UFOs? And the Creator, I don't think, books a flight when he wants to go from matter state to one place to another, or vice versa. He doesn't book a flight. So as we grow into this knowledge more and more, I don't even think there'll be a need for UFOs, even though we're quite enamored with them now, and some of them seem to be even flying in our skies. But we're going to understand this process more. And of course, this is what Christ showed you on the cross, which again, most of the Christians missed. We were told he died on the cross, but he actually transmuted into another entity and walked away from that location into another location and continued to exist as a different man in the same environment. So this is part of an aspect of immortality. If you can come onto it or accept that, you can do many, many more things in the energy dimension than we've given ourselves credit for. So that's what I wanted to say is, did Mosfeq arrive by any chance? I know he said he would join about an hour late. Anyone else want to add anything else? But this is part of our capabilities and capacities as a creator. And as I said, once people start to create water and gases and walls and bricks and other things in the matter state, or again, in the energy dimension, I think this idea that you're made in the image of the Creator will become much more solid in many people's thinking and understanding of who they really are in the universe. So thank you.
Thank you, Mark. It's Dean here. I'd just like to add a little bit to what you were speaking about. So you were talking about the water, and I know for myself when I was a child that I had a condition, and having spoken to Mr. Keshe and learnt this through the teachings, he communicated that the human body, with the emotion of the environment, the interaction of the inertia, is creating the waters. So what does that tell us? If we're having that inertia interaction from the emotion in the environment, and we create a condition in our lungs, and we get this water on the lungs, or any other condition like this. So this is manifested out of the environment, feeding from the fields. But the interaction, the inertia, was in a different way because it was linked to an emotion. So from micro to macro, if we open this up on the blue planet Earth with the human beings and all the emotions, where do we get some of this this water from? What was it linked to humanity? And remember, we as humans, when we're in the womb, we are fish. You know, we are receiving the energy from the mother's womb as a fish, like a fish. So this interaction of creating the matter state around us, the transmutation, we already do. We've been doing it for a very long time in many, many different ways. We just haven't understood it up until now. And then through the teachings, through this establishment of the fields, interactions linked to the emotions, we are realizing that we are creating, we as creators, constantly. And the world of science and plasma science, this enhancement to what humanity has experienced, is just opening up. It's been opening up, it's been opened up for a very long time with Mr. Keshe, as he's been present here. But for each of us, just starting to come to this knowledge, and then if we then establish that connection and understand how we create many of the things around us, water being one of them, you know, in the matter state. So we all establish different emotions that create different matters in and around our environments. And this knowledge, this understanding is so so wonderful when you realize that this transmutation that Mr. Keshe has been speaking about, and everybody thinks, oh, you know, what is this? We've been doing it forever. It's part of our process. It's part of what we, being present in a physical form, we are transmuting in this very moment, because the soul and the soul of physicality are two different dimensions, but we have that direct connection. And through the emotion of the salinity of being present on planet Earth, we can create an emotion that creates the matter state in our bodies and around us. Humanity's consciousness is vast. And when we tap into it and we understand we're connected to everything and we can create, there is no limitation to what we can create. And it opens up the sciences once more to create what we can connect to. And sometimes that connection can be a physical thought. You know, something comes to you, you think, oh, I would love to create this. And it came from nowhere. I'm sure Tesla went through this. He went through, the thought pattern came to him. You know, he was given the knowledge from the other souls in the universe. He received it, and because he used it with the correct intention, it manifested and created more and more. And it doesn't stop. It's unlimited. And now we're starting to understand, as Mr. Keshe has opened it up, that we are all capable of transmutation of the elements, not just within ourselves, but in our environments of everything. And we are at that point where the knowledge is about to be opened up. It has been opened up for quite some time, as I've said. Now is that moment for humanity to mature into the, you know, the sheer essence and beauty of what is within us. So thank you, Mark. And I think that was a wonderful introduction you gave to the transmutation this week. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
And of course, there are techniques which are going to be shared with all of us on how to, again, separate, enhance, take away from, strengthen, that it has these fields have the strength to interact. And this is something I think that's been, in a way, hidden or missing from our knowledge.
Okay, perhaps we can carry on to discuss some of the products and other such aspects. Perhaps you would like to carry on with that, Mark?
Again, I think these are more and more training tools and to build confidence, because I'm sure when you go in the energy dimension in the space, you won't be wearing these sort of headphones and so on and so forth. But again, I don't know much. Yes, supporting the store, I think, is very positive and very possible for all of us. Even if you have no funds or can't receive a delivery from the Keshe Foundation store, the best tool we have, as explained earlier, was to join at that 9 p.m. hour and start to use your energies. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And you start to open up this dimension of energy, your true non-physical nature, that again, we always thought was a coincidence, or, you know, not really us, or it just happened, and so on. So we want to support the Keshe Foundation store. And as Mr. Keshe said, the best way, or not the best way, but the way we have now to turn the corner to bring this knowledge into existence, we have a window of opportunity. So if you have no funds and you cannot get a delivery, the best way, I think, is to support and elevate the world leaders and religious leaders, the Keshe Foundation, and just start to play with that energy dimension. And of course, you can reach any soul. It's just not world leaders. We have this mother connection. But if we get into the store itself, there's many ways to participate, again, without even receiving anything from the store. For one is the universal coverage, let's say, of health, which can be found in the Keshe Foundation store, and I think it's still available. So again, if you can get funds to the Keshe Foundation, you can not really receive, I'm sure you don't get a booklet or something else, or what providers to go to, but this is something you can connect with on the headphones if you run into sort of any conditions within the body that are not balanced out. And as we know, there are many, many different conditions of unbalance in the body of the man that the Keshe Foundation can address without medicines and through the doctors. As Mr. Keshe said, we're just providers of the technology. And then, of course, you have a satellite soul, which will be set up, and there's room for many, many satellite souls, which again, you would make a donation to the Keshe Foundation store, and then you would be put in the queue, or perhaps, again, I don't know what's going on in the background. Mr. Keshe said he'd speak about more about this in the coming time, about these satellite souls. So that is another way to, if you can get funds to the foundation, that you won't receive a satellite soul per se, but you'll be part of a bigger process, or perhaps some sort of grid network or other things that I'm totally unaware of at this time. Then, of course, we have all the products in the store. Oh, let me just say, there's also a Keshe coin. Again, if you can get funds to the Keshe Foundation, you will be logged in for a coin. I think each one of them is €1,000. And you won't actually get the coin, but it'll be logged in, and you can use that to shop at any sort of things you want within the Keshe Foundation store, or other things that are offered by the Keshe Foundation. So there's a few ways that if you can get funds to the foundation, and not have a 300% duty on a product that you bought in, like one of the knowledge seekers were saying, if none of this is made in my country, I have to pay 3 times duty at the border. So, but if you can get products and you'd like to test some of these products and give feedback to the Keshe Foundation, this is another way to keep the Keshe Foundation free. Because I believe all of these will be made into an application, maybe not all of them, but most of them will be made, like the health insurance is already in that application, I believe. You're not going to get visited in the matter state by any doctors or anything like that. But there's so many products. And again, Mr. Keshe has referred to us as real murderers in a way. We haven't understood what we're doing with these vertical and horizontal entities. And of course, feeding what we just saw is probably the first step in moving away. This is one of the reasons why he says, I'm ashamed to be in the clothes of the man, because of all the things you have to do in the matter state, but we have to do them while we're here. But now we're learning a more advanced way. And of course, this is all for the space program, the new space program. Whether, again, if it'll be in the matter state, I'm not sure. That's a bit precarious, traveling in the matter state. I know the universal community will share that knowledge, but again, anything in the matter state is subject to failure. So I would think you'd prefer to travel in the energy dimension, or the way the creator travels. And I'm sure the universal community would like that as well, at least those in the spacecrafts, because if they understood how to travel or transmute in the dimension of the soul, they certainly wouldn't be in the spacecraft. So that's still, in a way, a very matter state, but much more advanced than we have knowledge to, but they may share that. But I think once we start to learn more of these things, we won't even need the UFO. As I said earlier, the creator doesn't book a flight from one galaxy or one universe to another. So there's many things in the store, from, again, these soul connection, which you can connect to any soul, as I understand it. There's a Twinity Magrav system. I'm not, again, sure of the difference, but there's many products to balance out a menopause condition for men or women, or if you're going through a migraine situation, we're calling these Twinity Ganses. So there's so many different products for you to test, or even to buy a gift for someone else to test. That interactive one there was another one, but there's what we just saw of the little tubes of the GANs, and he said tens of hundreds of materials within there. And again, these apples do not rot. You can have them for probably a century or longer, or at least as long as you're existing on here. But all this knowledge, all of these energy dimension understandings and balancing out the physicality as well, is all going to be moved into this nuclear plasma space program, which is really what it will all lead to. As we heard in the video, they'll probably have rooms here. Instead of going to a restaurant for a meal, you'll pay to just sit at a table and have conversation, perhaps something to drink if you need it. And you'll be fed over the course of 30 minutes or 60 minutes. And if you're hungry, you can come back later as you become the channel to absorb these energies in a much bigger way. But there are techniques to doing this, and I'm just testing. I'm still, as he said, we're training for a marathon, and I haven't made it around the block yet. But I've definitely noticed a difference, and the hunger factor has definitely gone down. And this is the way I used to eat. When I'm hungry, I eat. If I'm not hungry, and it goes to whatever time, and I'm hungry, then I'll have something to eat. But with this process, and again, it's only been 3 weeks. So the first week I held the tube in the hand for 30 minutes. The second week, what I've done, and again, we're using one in the morning, one in the afternoon for lunch, and one at night. And there's 4 of them in the set. And I'm taking the interacting with the fruity one in the morning, the herbal one in the afternoon, and then the protein one at night. I'll probably add in the vegetables later on, but that's 90 minutes of these in your hand, 30 minutes at a time, let's say. And of course, you lose in the right hand, and you lose the ability to use that hand. Well, you can use your first finger and your thumb and still hold the vial. But the second week, what I did was I put the individual vials one at a time during the feeding time, or what we're calling it, on top of the cosmic ray bundle, and then just wore the headphones. And this way you can work or do whatever you want and still be fed through these headphones. And again, imagining sort of memories of certain foods you'd like to eat. And as Dean said, the stronger your beliefs, it creates a stronger emotion. That emotion is connected to hydrogen, and hydrogen is connected to the creation. So this is the way, but there's techniques of doing this. So that was the second week I went through using the cosmic ray bundle, again, 30 minutes. Now the third week, which is now, I put these tubes in a small plastic bag. I'm looking for a sort of a glass test tube to slide them in, and just put them in a water container for, I started with an hour. I have one in there now, which has been an hour and 15 minutes for lunch. And then I'm going to just take it out, and you can either sip on the water or drink the water. But in that method, I still feel that I'm the camel bird. This proverbial camel bird that rides on the back of the camel to go from point A to point B, doesn't fly there, just sort of rides on the back. But I'm still using the water as the matter state to absorb the fields and then to physically drink the water. So that's not really, even though it is a part of the transmutation, it's not really absorbing directly. But I'm just playing with it. And then yesterday, I took that water, and instead of drinking it, I made it into a tea. So you're still getting all the fields you need. And as we understand, you'll take what you need from these fields. I'm just, again, in the initial stages of learning how to feed myself without eating, which years ago, when I heard this within the Keshe Foundation, I said, there is no way possible you can feed yourself without eating. So we're learning to absorb our energies rather than chew it. But the bigger thing is to move away from the taking other entities' energy, killing them, to sustain our own energy, which is not the ethos of the universe or the way the creator operates. He doesn't touch or destroy any of his creation to sustain himself. And this is what we're learning. So it's all coming together very beautifully. And again, your most powerful tool is that emotion from your soul to elevate the others to move into this path of peace and a bigger understanding of the work of the universe. So support the Keshe Foundation. You can volunteer for the transmutation test. You can support the Keshe Foundation through your soul, or you can interact with some of these, again, revolutionary products and interactions that's really never been seen in such a depth of understanding on this planet. So I've made some food GANs, but again, I was making one little GANs at a time, and I think I wasn't really probably doing it correctly. I was trying, but as he said, there's tens of hundreds of materials in these. Yes, here's the transmutation and wellness test. So you're keeping the Keshe Foundation free, as Mr. Keshe said. You're teaching the team and the doctors to understand and learn more. You don't always get much feedback from these, but again, the main goal is to keep the Keshe Foundation free, that it doesn't get tangled up in sort of financing that would direct its path of research or its results. So if it's in your capability, use your soul. If you have no funds or can't afford any funds or can't receive any products, I think that's the best way to play with this new toy that we're being exposed to. But if you can, join the transmutation test, or support the products in the store, or just make a direct donation to the Keshe Foundation. And remember, when you give, you receive. And we're not giving to receive, but we must understand that's part of a process of giving. In that process, you may not receive today and you may not receive next year, but at some point in time, those fields, or you're, again, banking ahead, as many knowledge seekers are doing in a way. So we're not giving to receive, but we're giving unconditionally. But in that process, again, the laws of the universe kick in. By giving or nourishing others, you become nourished. And that's what this whole idea of right now in the last 3 transmutation tests, which I think the next one will happen on the 17th of January, if I'm reading that correctly, 2025. And then we'll see where we go from there. But it's a beautiful understanding. And again, this is outside of so much the matter state, starting to explore our true nature, which is that non-physical energy dimension. And again, when you think of the soul as a seed or being created, and it's one of its destinations is to become a star, and it has that in the back of its mind, I'm sure. It wants to be out of this physicality to confirm its existence, to continue on that path. It may not go directly to be a star, but it may. Or it may not go directly to the creator, or it may. And this is what we're understanding and what we're learning. But the soul is ready to move. It understands much more than we do. And it has its own line of communication and its own existence, let's say, independent of the physicality. But this is what we're learning more about, this energy center, as they call it in the universe. So many aspects, many ways for you to support the foundation and to enlighten yourself. Again, these are all training tools, mostly to build confidence. But Mr. Keshe indicated that you're going to have quite a lot of fun with some of these new devices, and it hasn't exhausted itself, because this store will probably at some point in the future contain 20 or 30,000 different products, all from the plasma technology, and it will touch every area of our lives, from feeding to hair color to emotional balancing to traveling the spans of the universe. So support the Keshe Foundation store, and I think you'll be happy with the work you're doing. And again, an amazing surprise. Sometimes you get more than you ordered for, more than you ordered in a way. And I think this enlightenment and understanding of your own creation is the biggest gift we can receive. To understand who we are in the universe and what our purpose is. And of course, that purpose is to serve. And as we heard in the opening, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. And again, if you don't think you have anything to serve, find something to serve, not something that serves you. Thank you. Would someone else like to add, please?
Yes. Thank you for your excellent approaching about the Keshe Foundation. Yes, it's very important maintenance. The Keshe Foundation is an organization independent, and all the time continue with the ethics with the creator. Of course, need continue in the same way. Please, it's time for maybe other way for you. You contribute with the Keshe Foundation. You getting the private students for you acquire more about the Keshe, the plasma technology, and give it to the others across your own community and your own language with your own culture and your own emotion. And it's time for invite all people, all souls from the different community be part of the Universal Council, because need presence the all communities and the bridge to the point of the communication with the universal community. And of course, I apologize for my English perfect, but please continue support the Keshe Foundation with not only with your soul and your physical directions in different ways too. Thank you so much.
Bueno.
Any other is welcome. Okay, next. This be part of the wishes. Thank you. Hernán?
Yes. We, the Universal Council, give freely from our souls to establish peace in the Middle East and acceptance of cash technology in exchange for peace. This is our wishes, and our wishes is our commands.
Sorry, Rick. Thank you. I need the next little words and maybe to help me about that. Mr. Kerr taught us in last workshop about the it's possible prepare the new viruses at the world and maybe attack morely the time the childs. And Mr. Kerr told us maybe in March give the special knowledge about the preparation of the guns for prepare, and I think it's prepared environment for maybe calm the virus is have a success and is prepared for the combat and of course dominate that and helping the childs around the world, of course helping all around the world. I don't know anybody helping me for explain more things about that. Thank you.
Well, apparently there's whispers, and even more than whispers, how they're going to sort of replay another similar thing that developed in with the COVID. And there's some tests going on now, and apparently they want to bring it into a bigger dimension again to population reduction, as well as making billions and billions of dollars. But the Keshe Foundation is prepared for this. I'm thinking that perhaps even Mr. Keshe has a touch of whatever was coming. I'm not sure. I know he said he's been affected by the disease of the man in the last couple of weeks. So I know that he allows things to take their progression before he actually intervenes upon himself. So, or maybe they've already done this years and years ago, but it'll be very similar to balancing things out with the Cup 1 and 2. So we're quite familiar with that and had a lot of success to people that made it or people we've offered it to. I think we can all give testimonies of that. So the same tune is going to be played again, perhaps, or perhaps not. As he said, the American presidency has a role to play in this. whether this organization with a head that's killed 2 million of his own nationals will pull this off, or it will be sort of a wrench will be thrown into the works. But they're prepared and they see what's coming, as apparently in the 2020 period, it was a bit too late before they saw everything, but yet the foundation stepped in with an understanding, which again would take man, we called it Cup of Life 1 and Cup of Life 2, that would take man centuries to understand. But again, we made it, we replicated it, and we set it exactly the way the foundation instructed us to set it, and it worked quite well in many, many cases, even repetitive cases, as we understand. So there's a lot more to come out on that, and I think it's taught the Keshe Foundation quite a bit as far as in calcium and calcification and decalcification. But this one will be a little bit different, but I think they'll, again, approach it on a twinity type of cup method. Anyone else?
Thank you, Mark. I'd like to say something, maybe not quite the same on this, on what we're talking about now, the same subject. But going back to this, the needs and wishes, and we, the Universal Council, give freely from our souls to establish peace in the Middle East. And we all wish this, as we do across the whole of the planet Earth. But the next part, the acceptance of the Keshe technology in exchange for peace. And so Mark was speaking about, and Elizabeth were talking about the, the possibility of another virus that may be interacting amongst the physicalities of human beings and others on planet Earth. When we were in that position before, and Mr. Keshe gave the technology of the cups that helped and saved many, many lives through the technology, through the understanding that it gave, and it enhanced many people. It gave them a belief in they could help themselves and they weren't helpless. It wasn't something where the fear just took so much energy from them that the fear alone caused their physicality to transmute. So, where in a roundabout way, what I'm coming to is Mr. Keshe has now been accepted on something called X. I think we all know it. And you can now contact Mr. Keshe and see him interacting on this platform. And this is a big step forward for the interactions of the foundation, because Mr. Keshe has always had a limited press because of, we know it was blocked on Fox and it was never allowed out into the general public. However, now you're starting to see a new understanding and a new ethos emerging amongst certain individuals and peoples on planet Earth. An enhancement and awakening to some things. And so you now got a new connection where you can follow Mr. Keshe. It's at Mehran T. Keshe, and the M, the T, and the K is all in capitalized. And you can follow Mr. Keshe, and he will be talking to the likes of, the person that owns this platform, and they can talk in a way that Mr. Keshe can talk as a nuclear engineer, as a plasma engineer, as a being that has got very much knowledge to share with humanity, as he has been doing. And now you're going to get another platform. So the acceptance of the Keshe technology is gradually opening up. And Mr. Keshe said this is the year for it to really expand and to come forward onto the plane of acceptance for humanity in these moments now, 2025. So, and it's up to each and every one of us to help this process. It's no good just listening to the words. The words aren't the full manifestation. It's the intention, it's speaking the words and then following the action. So each and every one of you can, if you have the capabilities on a phone, on a computer, whatever it is, if you can, be part of this, then just be present. Put your name forward, and listen to the conversation that is being spoken now amongst some pretty high profile people on the planet. And remember, with the understanding of Mr. Keshe, he becomes the humblest. You know this. It's what he teaches. Mr. Keshe speaks to these top, so say, souls on planet Earth that have a position. Mr. Keshe has a position, but Mr. Keshe acts like the creator. He becomes very humble. He shares the knowledge and he gives it freely for each and every one of us. But Mr. Keshe needs your help. You know, the knowledge and the understanding needs each of us to share it, as we're doing right now, as we've been doing. Many of the knowledge seekers and many of the Universal Council members and the people, the beautiful knowledge seekers that do all the work in the foundation, they're there day in, day out doing this. And they dedicate their lives to it, serving. And it doesn't take much just to understand there's another platform that's opened up, another way, another channel for you to reach out to the people in and around your communities. And the knowledge that will be shared will be astounding. It's that giant leap for mankind. It's that beauty. It's the knowledge of creation, no less. That's quite incredible. And so if you get a chance, this is one way of opening up the technology a little bit further. So Mr. Keshe on X, and is that Mehran Tavakoli, Mehran T Keshe. And it's a social media platform, but it's another step in the right direction of opening up. And it's fascinating to know that we will get a dialogue going between the likes of somebody who's in a position, so say through many people's understanding, one of the richest men on earth. And he's having an intellectual conversation, or will be, with a soul, a nuclear scientist who could share knowledge that would expand the knowledge of what humanity's had by an unlimited, profound amount. And it's for each and every one of us to, as I said, to share a little bit more, just to give a little bit back. That intention, that thought, that interaction of the action is the inertia. And once you create the inertia, and then you're starting to create the matter state. So you formulate the thought, the intention, you combine it with the manifestation of speaking the word, as I'm speaking now, and then you put the action together, the three wise men. And if this was given to humanity at the beginning, we wouldn't be in the mess we've been in. So it's that thinking, speaking, and acting in the moment. So be present for the family of Keshe, for your family of humanity, and your universal family that has always been present with us. So I think it's very important that we all step up in these moments. Thank you all for listening. Thank you. I don't know if somebody else would like to say something.
I'd just like to mention that today I read that Mark Zuckerberg, and who is basically owns Meta, which is Facebook and other entities, he's opening it up to more diversity, you could say, in that they're going to end the fact checking. And as we know, the so-called fact checking was always quite biased and heavy with their the way they would deal with people that weren't going along with the flow that they wanted to present. And now they're ending the fact checking altogether and opening things up to more freedom of speech, which is very interesting. And it goes along with the X platform, which is also opening up to more of that freedom of speech idea. And Mr. Keshe will be right in there interacting with, no doubt, with Elon Musk and Trump and anyone else that's willing to engage with him. I'm sure it'll be very, very interesting.
Rick, I think that what you just said is wonderful. Thank you. It's what's so beautiful is the fact that it's that engagement of taking the foundation's knowledge and it being brought into the public view. This is what the foundation and the knowledge seekers have been trying to do for a long time. And it's now present, and it's an opening up. There's always, the more you block something, the more you create a condition that will then totally change it the opposite way. The bigger always gives to the weaker, and at some point it always flips. It always creates another condition. This is why we with the knowledge and with the understanding, like the cups for the virus, you create a condition where the stronger virus gives to the weaker. It depletes the energy from micro to macro, and this is what's happening with this beautiful knowledge. So I think Rick, thank you very much for that. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I think we should all be part of it. We've been part of it, but just this little bit of extra now, and we can then open this totally up. Rick, and we also have a hand up with Nick. I don't know if you'd like him to speak as well. Thanks, Rick.
Yes, exactly. Yes, Nick, if you would like to go ahead there, please.
Yes, thanks, Rick. Can you hear me?
Yes, if you could say who you are and where you're from and what you'd like to say. Go ahead.
My name is Nick from Sydney, Australia. Happy New Year to all of you, and thank you for letting me talk. First of all, I'd like to share something that I shared with some other knowledge seekers, but I'd like to take it a step further, and before I share it, just to know where I got it from. Now, about 15 years ago, and why I'm sharing this, because these people I met and gave me this, what I'm about to share, they remind me a lot of Mr. Keshe and the knowledge seekers, the Universal Council, striving for the highest good of all, the highest light, and working on themselves, like the knowledge seekers do, and through the Keshe products and that, they're working on themselves, purifying themselves, and working with their souls, as I see it, for the service of all humanity and all souls in the universe. Now, about 15 years ago, I got myself into a bit of very deep waters with some people. Basically, it was more like a war of energy, and I found myself, I couldn't handle it, and I got into deep waters. But through the deep waters, my soul must have reached out, and I met two people. They were spiritual people, and husband and wife, very good people. They taught me that you should always work on yourself. Your word, thought, and deeds be of the highest light. If someone steps on your toes, it's a lesson and a test for you, and you go back and you keep on forgiving each time that thought comes up of that person, and always say peace and elevation for their soul. And by doing that, you're actually working on yourself. Now, these people were spiritual people, but there's a lot of spiritual people out there, but they were of the highest values. And they told me that spiritualism is a philosophy and science based on the belief in the continuous existence of the human soul. And after leaving this physical body, passing from this world into the next, the world of spirit, spiritualism is the ability to communicate with these souls. They also told me they had the cornerstone of their belief was 7 principles: the fatherhood of God, the brotherhood of man, the communion of spirit and ministry of angels, the continuous existence of the human soul, personal responsibility, compensation and retribution hereafter and for all the good and evil deeds done on earth, and eternal progress open to every human soul. Now, this husband and wife team, which very nice people, they worked a lot on themselves, and they could actually talk from the soul or talk from the soul physicality. And I'm just going to give you a little message they talked to me and a few other people. in this room that I was in. Now, one of the messages from the lady who I knew, who actually gave this from her soul, and she says, I'm here to talk to you about the light, love, and peace. But in order to find these things, you must know yourself. You must know and understand the truth inside you. You must believe in who you are. There are many times you will face challenges, some successful, some not so. But you are the chalice of the light. You are the cup of the light, and everything you fill yourself up with needs to be of the light. Once you fill yourself up, it allows you to see clearly your world, your existence, and your lives. Many of you are worried about what the future holds. There are many scare tactics to keep you under control. This is not important. Once you fill yourself up with the light, you shall understand that all this chaos shall dissipate. You will find clarity in all things. It is easy for me to say I live in the spirit realms, but I have walked these paths as a human soul many times. And I must tell you that it's very important for you to take pause, take heed, relax, and understand what these feelings are. Are they yours? For most people are sponges of your environment. You have forgotten to live freedom that once was peace on Mother Earth. Instead, you watch the box of color as it moves in front of you. It is time for you to go outside and feel the wind in your face. Feel the strength of that wind as it moves through you and takes away what angers you. Feel the sun on your face and absorb it into you, for the sun gives you strength. Feel the rain and dance in it, for as the rain touches you, it allows you to feel the stillness in your emotions and your heart. Feel the earth beneath you, feet, for she helps keep you safe. Understand, my dear friends, you have everything around you, but you are walking with blinkers on. If you have faith, you will always land in your feet. If you have trust first, you must have peace in your hearts, because with peace comes clarity, with peace comes stability. You have the ability to find peace and understanding in all realms of life and existence. It is not your beginning, it is not your end, it is just your journey. Now, why I shared this, the beginning of the new year, these people were actually a stepping stone to take me to my next destination, and which was to the Keshe Foundation, to the highest light, and to these beautiful people I'm talking to now, the souls, the technology, and I thank you for accepting me and letting me share this. And Happy New Year and many blessings to you all. Did you get that, Rick?
You betcha. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next, Rick.
Do we have any other needs and wishes from anyone? I'm just trying to look at our chats here. There was a question, does the Keshe Foundation have a newsletter or written material published periodically? We used to have the Plasma Times. We don't have that anymore. And I just suggested the person could follow Mr. Keshe on X and get the latest news, basically. That's where he'll be promoting certain things and letting people know some of the latest and greatest.
You can also go use the Keshe Wiki, which you'll find many of the Plasma Times articles and much more there.
Yeah, although they're not current as far as the material being published periodically, but they're an excellent resource, however. And really, the Knowledge Seekers workshops are our weekly newsletter. Mr. Keshe gives the latest news of the Keshe Foundation, as well as the latest teaching about the plasma technology. So in a way, it's a live, real-time newsletter. And plus, there is a transcription available after every workshop so that you can actually look at what was said and the various topics brought up and so on. It would, in a way, make for a long newsletter to put all the details in that Mr. Keshe does cover. So it's always best to hear it direct from the horse's mouth as such. We cut out the middleman newsletter and just get the news direct. But it wouldn't be a bad idea to have an email newsletter or some sort of regular periodical to give the latest information about what is going on with the Keshe Foundation and with Mr. Keshe and his adventures. Perhaps that'll happen later this year. Okay, I don't see any other. Oh, we had a question from Sebastian in the YouTube here. Has a question for the Universal Council. It's a big one. What is the soul made of? Is it possible that it is made of principal matter maths? Who would like to take on that one?
Simply put, a collection of energies.
Magnetic fields in motion? As Mr. Keshe defined energy? Anybody else have anything to say about, is it possible that the soul is made out of principal matter maths, magnetic fields?
Well, I think like Mark that it's a pure magnetic field in motion and
It's
emotion.
It's a star. Think of a star, and this is what he said in the opening video there, that when we get to that point where we can see a star in the other souls, and that's what your soul is. It's just shrunken down to a few microns. And of course, it's going to go back and expand into a star or a universe.
As usual, the soul sort of comes into play, and I was just looking again at the 571, and I just glanced up as you said that, Mark, and it says, you will create light in the sky, and the color of that light according not to the observation of the sight of the man, but the observation of the field strength, of the inertia, of the energy of the man will dictate what you are facing. Is it life? Is it a collection of the fields, position of it, strength of it, intention of it, emotion of it? There's many ways to say the same thing. Thank you for the question.
Right. And of course, it's made out of the soul of the creator, your soul. It's just a different strength, a different amount, and a different size. But you're part of the creator.
And
I
that's
think
why
that
we're unlimited, isn't it?
I think that part of description of soul, there is still hidden explanation of it, because as it's related to soul of God, so there's sort of energy and connection that still is hidden for us regarding our primitive knowledge at the moment.
Agree. I think he's just opening up this understanding of the soul of the man and all souls.
It's a wonderful time, place, and position to be present within. And there's no judgment of being present in any moment. And so this understanding the knowledge is for humanity, the souls, to gradually come to know. And it's sharing and it's giving from the creation, from the creator. And those fragments of the creation, the creator, are all the souls we're interacting with. And when you put that fraction of all those souls back together, becomes one creation point. And we're all part of it.
I think that sometimes I'm very happy that some of the knowledges are hidden for the man at the actual way of life they have. And unless we are really mature in the notion of peace and moral values, I hope that it would be hidden and not be abused by those who can abuse it.
Marinus, I think one beautifully said. I think from my understanding, and from my viewpoint, once you receive the knowledge, that elevation, can you do wrong? I suppose in physicality you can, but would the soul actually allow that to take position? And there's many ways that we can subdivide and take a position, but it's when we don't defend a position. That's what Mr. Keshe is always saying, is that detachment from it. When if you don't have to stand in a place and say, I own this, and I defend this castle or this piece of land or this car or this, whatever it is, we defend it with all of our thoughts and intentions because we believe it to be a position we need to. But when you detach from this, then you start to get to the positions that Nick was talking about. You start to get to those positions where you suddenly realize that's all chatter. That's all part of something that is there as an illusion for you to understand that you need to distance yourself from it, view it, become peaceful. And then that peace starts to become part of your understanding and the environment that you're present within. That star shines very bright. One tiny aspect of it, one tiny part of it can be the brightest thing and the most heaviest thing. It could weigh, more than you could ever imagine. Because it holds everything, and yet it could be the tiniest thing. And it's all part of a much bigger totality, and we are all part of that picture. And that peace that is present, the more that we say, the communities, the outside of me is not peaceful. Well, if you go inside and you make yourself peaceful, that one soul becomes very peaceful and understands some of this knowledge, then you can really create. You don't need to go outside. You can create this environment in this moment. It's nothing and it's everything. It's the space gap. It's what Mr. Keshe was teaching a very long time ago when he turned a box upside down and everybody was expecting this wonderful thing to fall out and it was empty space. That's where the energy is, and that's what we are. And we're part of that. And so we have peace in this moment, the moment that we establish that connection. That's to my understanding anyway. Thank you, Mehran.
Well, I think that for us, which are majority of humanity, it's very easy to start to detach. But for those who have tasted the power and the condition of power of being served, it's very difficult to be detached. And there's always this soul of physicality which tells them to do that, to do this, even though the soul always teaches them to do the right thing. And I think of, as Mr. K says, the example of Moses, which he could see the light of God and talk to God. And then when he got the power and got the education to give to people, he didn't apply it as it was supposed to do and followed the soul of physicality and what he needed and didn't give the message completely as he was supposed to. So it's always this danger of position of power that pushes people to greed and like in the Quran says, the Satan can seduce man until the day of judgment. And after the day of judgment, he has no power of humanity. So I think until the day of judgment, there is always temptation from what we call Satan symbolically, that always trying to cheat us, to take us here and then. And so we are not safe from the temptations. But there would come a day that the soul of physicality, as we say, and the soul, they are in harmony. So they are one. And then we can trust man. And that's my theory.
I think, Mehran, that's beautiful understanding. We all have our understandings and what we believe. And we have these belief patterns and things that we experience are very, very powerful, extremely powerful. And they, from the cradle to the grave in physicality, we experience things in the we say the matter state. So we're saying the physical form of being present in a body. And we experience things and we create dimensions and interactions of the fields all around us by our interactions. We are coming to understand that the soul of man, has a very big influence when you actually start to realize that it's present within the structure of man. And so when you start to realize this, your physical being starts to manifest in a different way, even though sometimes it can be very painful because whatever you want to call it, awakening or field strength or an understanding of creation of God, theology, whatever you want to call it, it can be painful because you suddenly come to a position, a time, place and position where you suddenly thought, what is this? What am I experiencing? And the spiritual people go, okay, I need to go into a cave, or I need to be very quiet. I need to go into nature and I need to be with myself. I need to be present. And we're gradually teaching this as the universal community and other things. We are teaching and given the understanding that you can do this in any moment. You know, it used to be, Mr. Keshe said this many times, you don't need to meditate. Some do, but you don't need to. If you reach the level of creation of the creator with your understanding and your beauty, it can be an instant. It's a flip. It happens in an instant. And we are getting, all of us, we are at that moment. We're on that precipice of the plasma opening up. And this is from one soul to all the souls, from the soul of the earth. It's a plasma, like the soul, and it's just your viewpoint. Is your viewpoint just planet Earth and just within the environment and the forever wars and everything that's going on? Or do you understand that you are so much more than this and you're part of a much bigger totality? And that is what we speak about when we're speaking about the universal rays, the universal council, and all the other conditions that were present within. It's maturity of the knowledge of mankind. And it's, you take from it what you can. Some of us, it's like, no, I don't, it's too much for me. And others go, wow, give me more. It's really dependent upon, as Mr. Keshe would say, you know, your intellect and what you're able to comprehend and to absorb in the knowledge. And it's, if you're a physical person, yeah, you're a king or a queen or you're a politician, whatever, it doesn't matter. You could be a gardener, you could be anything. But if you have this kingship within you, that it's mine, it's my right to have, it's the wrong ethos. It's the wrong condition. When you have this acceptance of the others around you and to share and to give, you will receive more. Then you become a real king. Then a king doesn't exist. I don't mean it in that way, but you become a real, you know, you become a soul that's present in the moment, sharing and giving. And then all the other souls give back to you. And that is the beauty of this knowledge of being present in the moment and being shared. And then you start to get the inertia interactions. As the more you give, the more you share, and you're creating more. And it just blooms and opens. And I've experienced this with the foundation. You come in, you receive a little, you give a little back, and then all of a sudden they give you everything. You think, wow, it's too much. I can possibly do it. But it's the way the creation works. You know, if you ask, you shall be given. It's your right, as long as it's in the right way, not taken from others by creating something that would destroy or would burn or whatever you want to call it. In creation, this doesn't happen. It's a very much more of a giving situation. It's, I give from my soul, I give from my being, I give from my light, whatever you want to call it. And I emanate this beauty from within and I share it. And being around the foundation, I've come to understand this, the beautiful knowledge seekers and what they do. And this, for me, is the truth of it. Thank you, Mehran.
Le retrait.
Mehran, your microphone's open. I'm just going to mute you there. Mr. Keshe once said that our true nature is a pinpoint of attention in space. So that's something to think about too. What is the soul made of?
That space gap, Rip. I think we're getting back to that position again.
Well, anybody else have something to input on that? Elizabeth mentions in the chat here, all rays interact with each other and create new souls because they are dynamic and they are all part of the fundamental soul, the soul of the creator. As the soul elevates its energetic rank and in interaction with others of its similar level, they can create other souls or stars or galaxies. Well, that's a good way to put it, I would say. The rays interact with each other and create new souls. So you're made of light, comes right down to it.
Rick, just very quickly. So when I was in the transmutation test, I don't know if some of you would know, have heard this. I actually came to a position where all of a sudden I felt that light. It was part of me. It wasn't outside of me. It wasn't like viewing it from the other side, you know, when you see a light. I was in that light. And I'm no different to any other soul or being that has that presence. It's just being on that spiral in that particular time, place, and position. And as Mr. Keshe would say, nothing is by chance. We're all supposed to be in exactly the right time, place, and position. It's like a script, and the script is being written as we interact. And the more we understand this, the more we start to realize this, then you know the knowledge and what you've spoken about earlier. For some people, you say we are this speck of dust, you know, of nothing in space. That understanding starts to open up a little bit more. And then that transparency that you can experience when you interact in the right way is maybe like when you see many souls that have reached enlightenment or are trying to, and their bodies change. They either crystallize or they disappear. And this explains a lot. You become transparent. And when you act in this way, you're transparent in your ethos and you've got nothing to hide, then you become everything. And this is the beauty of the knowledge from what I've come to know. Thank you, Rick.
Very good, Dean. Thank you. All right, perhaps we can move on then.
We are to serve, not to be served. Newman Council. Thank you so much. And invite, please continue, elevate all souls, unify all souls with the universal community, and be part of the soul of the peace. Thank you for being part of the new time for the peace. That year is beautiful year. It's the powerful year to the peace. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for always souls daily and all the time. Be part of that and construct. You change around you, construct and change environment for the new time. And remember, it's not only for us. Really, it's for the new generations. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Lizzie, and thank you to all of our members of the Universal Council here today. Just let me get my background up, which has just disappeared on me. Ah, here we go. Yes, thanks to all our members, and thank you to everyone for being here today and participating and being present for today's 360th One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. I selected the background image. This is from Brigid, who sends images regularly, especially to the plasma reactor group. And this was a dawn image of the before the sun, as the sun comes up. So I thought it was an appropriate image for the dawn of a new beginning, you could say, for humanity. And I think 2025 is our chance to pull things together and truly work for a world with full of peace and potential. And I look forward to it. All right, I think that's it for now. The next public teaching workshop will be the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, and that will be Wednesday, January 8th, starting at 7 a.m. Central European Time. Usually goes for several hours and open to members of the public, whether you're a newcomer or an old-timer to the plasma technology. And we tend to focus on the more practical side and of the plasma teachings, and welcome any inventions or reactors or your experiences with the soul realm as well. So that's open for, again, on Wednesday, January 8th. Okay, I think that's it, and we are going to...
Do you want to mention the testimonial meeting coming this Monday?
You're always there for that, Mark. Thank you. Well, now that you mentioned it, it is coming up on Monday, the 13th of January, starting at 8 p.m. Central European Time, will be the public meeting for testimonials. And if you have a testimonial, personal testimonial of the plasma technology that you would like to reveal to the world, then that is a perfect place to do that. And we always have some very interesting testimonials that come up in that program, and we look forward to your contributions. So it's a great way to pay back for receiving the knowledge, is to share it with others, share your experience of the knowledge and the technology with others. So that's the place to do it, the public meeting for testimonials on the 13th of January. Thank you, Mark, for that reminder. And thank you for being there as the co-host once again. Very consistent, and I appreciate your presence in all the workshops. Thank you. Alrighty, I think that's it for now. And we'll go out with our usual flight enhancement spaceship unit. And bye for now, everyone. See you in the next public teaching.